it's surprising. I can't lie. I can't sit here and lie to you that I would assume Altuve would be hitless through like 4 games in the playoffs, if I'm being honest with you. So,
We got some people here. Let's get this thing going.
yeah.
So, hey, we're
Hi.
Mariner Mojo. I'm Colton. That's Joe.
I'm Joe. If my background's a little wonky sometimes, uh, I don't have a great space in which to have a background. So,
We
you get
appreciate you.
awkward green screen.
We appreciate you guys being here. Anyway, Joe, what jersey you wearing?
Oh, I got my spring training blue Jared Kelenic jersey.
Oh,
The one I
yeah,
the
JK.
one I got done before he even made it like officially to the majors, and I just picked number 10 and I got lucky.
Yo, Savage Gamer, what's going on? What a year. So excited for the upcoming years. You and me both, man.
I
I'm super excited.
could not agree more. It's going to be honestly like I don't know where you'd rank like the potential for this offseason, but like it's got to be up there with like the best offseason like the Mariners have ever seen. I would be like willing to bet.
Like for like ones they need to like what they need. It's set up to be the best one, you would say?
Yeah, like in theory, like if we hit on like most of the targets
I would agree with
that
that.
we're looking at, I think like like the Cano signing was like what the heck, like like the big one from like most recent history, but this one's setting up to have like 2 or 3 of those moments. I feel like
I would have to agree. Yo, Phoenix, what's going on, man? Welcome, welcome. How are you guys today?
just got here. Well, don't worry, we just started.
All right,
Having
so we have a couple things on the docket today that we want to talk about. First, we're going to start with kind of an overview of the Mariners postseason, just kind of as a whole. Obviously, we were all watching, and we have some thoughts on the postseason, some good and some not so good, but we'll get into that. We'll talk a little bit about this Jesse Waker drama, and we'll also talk about the offseason, like a very light overview of the offseason plan. And
What
if you guys have
drama?
questions along the way, what drama? Pff, no drama.
There's no drama according to Scott.
No drama, dude. Don't want to say goodbye to this season, man. Hey, we got to do it at some point because next year's going to be even better, bro.
They're gonna win it all next year, guaranteed.
Next year, World Series or bust.
Jim,
All right. So the postseason, Joe, I want to get your initial thoughts on how the Mariners looked in the postseason. Obviously, first postseason for like 95% of the team.
Yeah.
How do you think that sets up the team for, I guess, moving forward over this window of contention?
I think it was a great like test of like what we got. I think a lot of young guys that obviously like as you said don't have a whole lot of postseason experience. Most of the players on our roster really hadn't seen it. And I think a lot of them showed up when they needed to and like showed up in great moments. Like players that were even scuffling towards the end of the season, like had great series, like in the wild card primarily. Like Adam Frazier had some clutch hits. Jared Kelenic did not play super great offensively in the wild card, but like was great on the defensive end out there, like in left field in the Rogers Center, and then had a great like division series like to his standards. So I think there's a lot of growth and like development that we saw from those players that showed that like they never been here before, but like they showed that they can be there and like they deserve it in that moment.
And I think I would have to agree with that. I think that watching those players, it didn't look like any moment was too big for them, especially somebody like Julio, who obviously has had big moment after big moment. He had the All-Star game. He had himself the home run derby. Yo, Pops Draw Studios, what's going on, dude?
Hi.
So it didn't look like Julio felt overmatched at any point. I mean, it looked like he was made kind of for the moment.
True.
And then I think players like JP, I mean, he's so lax in something like that. I think that really bodes well for the future of the Mariners. And like, if we're going to see them in the postseason from time to time over the next 10 plus years,
Yeah.
I think that's going to bode well for them. I think Scott did a really good job managing in his first ever postseason as a manager. I think that he proved that it's not going to be a problem for him to try to manage going through those games.
Yeah.
And obviously, there were some questionable decisions here and there with, Robbie Ray against Jordan Alvarez. We don't want to talk about that.
We don't talk about it. I'm just trying to get the postseason bracket up on the screen.
You're doing great, sweetheart. I'm proud of you.
I think I messed it up by doing that. Bang! Postseason bracket. Look at that.
W.
We figured it out, boys.
Do you guys think the Mariners will re-sign Mitch Haniger, or is he gone for good, you ask, Pop? I think that's a very solid question.
I'm gonna give it like a 70% chance we re-sign.
I would have to agree. I think so. When we were watching the postseason presser yesterday, Justin Hollander was talking about how much he loves Mitch,
Yeah.
how much Mitch works at being ready all the time, and that he talks to Mitch's agent more than basically anyone. So I think that there's a good chance they re-sign him. And I saw a tweet from somebody, I don't remember who it was, but they said if the Mariners come into next year with Jesse Winker on the roster but Mitch Haniger not, it's a really bad look.
It's a big tell, and like like a lot of
Mhm.
that drama felt like he got squashed today in the presser, not today, yesterday in the presser. I was listening to it today, so that's why I keep saying today. But I think a lot of that, like a lot of them, like Dipoto and like Service were saying that like it got blown out of proportion, and I do believe that like that is like I think there's some validity to that. You're not gonna like be like the faces of like the organization from like the coach and like obviously like the president of baseball operations standpoint and like go into your presser at the end of like their best year since 2001 and I don't want to say lie, but kind of like bend the truth around the drama surrounding the team because that's also just like a bad look in general. So I think even if Winker was on the team and Mitch isn't, I don't know if it's like at the end of the day the entire like fault of the Mariners. It could be just like Mitch wanted to go elsewhere, got a better offer, and like wanted to test his waters in the free market, even though he has said that he would love to be back for the Mariners next year. Like he talked about how much he loves playing there and like loves all the guys. So there's question marks surrounding the move, but I get what you're saying with like Winker being there if Haniger isn't, and I think they can still coexist. It's just how much of that drama was actually true.
And I completely agree with that. I know Mitch is somebody who, I mean, he's worked really hard to get to this point in his career with all the injuries and getting to free agency. And Justin Hollander himself said, Mitch just as much wants to go test the market, see where things are at.
Because you don't really know, because like there's lots of question marks surrounding him and like his capability and like how much he can like bounce back. Because we were looking at it the other day, like his 162 game average according to Baseball Reference is like a top 5-ish right fielder in all of MLB. And so it's tough to see like where his market might be at.
And that's what I think is tough is because a lot of people are saying give him the qualifying offer. But first of all, I think that if you do offer him the qualifying offer, I think he takes it. 1 year, $20 million, tries to rebuild
100%.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think he's worth $20 million a year.
Do you think
I'd be
his
willing to go
162 game
1 for
average?
10?
You think his 162 game average is worth it if he can reproduce?
Absolutely.
30 home runs, 90 RBIs probably.
I do, but we've only seen that from him, once or twice, and that's the problem is
Facts.
Which player is Mitch Haniger?
Correct.
So
okay, we've got some comments I wanna read through here. So Phoenix said, I think my favorite Mariners game in the season was the August 15th game against the Angels, and you know that game very well, right?
Me?
Isn't that the one? Isn't that the chaos inning? Is that not that?
Yeah.
Is it the one that started this channel essentially? Brought it back to life?
Yeah, chaos inning when the worst defensive inning in baseball history that I made a video about. Yep, yes. I think that's the one, if I remember correctly. Is that correct, Phoenix?
I mean, I'd be willing to put money on it. I can't think of another Angels game aside from maybe the brawl that like people might stand out.
That was in June though,
but yeah. And then Taj, hello, you're here. Welcome.
Hey Taj.
Savage Gamer 420, blaze it. Winning against the Astros. Depressed. Winning against Toronto. Freudian slip was a big W. Boosted the confidence for the Astros, even though we got swept, we were in it. Yeah. So I agree. I think you and I both agree, Colton, that like even though it was a sweep, I mean your video that you put out the other day says it all. It didn't feel like a sweep. It felt like we were in it the whole time, and it's just one swing of the bat goes the other way, and we could be 1-0 against the Yankees right now.
I think that if you went into the series against the Astros thinking the Mariners were going to win that series, good on you for having so much of like so much, I guess, confidence in the team. Mm-hmm. Going into the series against the Astros, I did not think that was going to happen, to be honest with you. I'm honestly surprised at how well they played against the Astros, let alone the idea that they could have swept them.
Yes.
So
I don't know if you have the chat open. Y2KHA, $2 super chat. It should pop up soon-ish. I don't know where the notification for it is right now, but I appreciate that. Trade for Turner, sign Correa. There it is. Bang. Little Nelly smile for you. Appreciate the $2, dude. Appreciate that. First one. Trade for Turner, sign Correa, or bring back Frage. I don't know if we have to trade. So trade for Turner. I don't think because he's free agent. Unless we're talking
Yeah.
about a different Turner, like a Justin Turner or something.
I'm assuming we're talking about Trey Turner,
It
in
could
which
be
case
like
he's a free
he
agent.
signs a deal and then it's like a sign in trade. At that point, if it's a sign in trade, I don't want any part of the Turner thing because like it'll be too expensive both ways.
Mhm.
I would rather honestly like you talked about it like when we were like hanging out the other day, signing Correa. It could be like a redemption arc for Correa in terms of like baseball fans because like I feel like the Mariners are a very popular team at this point in, like for the people that want to root for like I want to say like the underdogs but like for the people that want to root for like the team that hasn't been there before, bringing in like Correa as like a redemption story could be interesting, and then bringing back Frazier, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Frazier. If you plan on bringing back Frazier, he needs to be like worst case scenario.
Yeah,
You
like
know what I mean?
he's the end of the line.
Yeah, you do mean Trey Turner. So yeah, so Trey Turner is for sure a free agent. And then technically Correa still has to opt out. Sounds like he will. He's going to opt out of his
Come on,
deal
bro.
with the Twins, barring an extension.
Come on, bro.
But like he technically has to opt out. And yeah, I think so. In my opinion, I would put it if we're talking about like shortstops that can play second base. I'm going Trey Turner number one. I'm putting Xander Bogaerts number two. Correa number three, Dansby number four, Adam Frazier number 700. And I think that
That's steep.
and so yeah, I think Y2K after the super chat, bro, appreciate it by the way. If they're going to go big, it has to be up the middle. Whether it be a shortstop or a second baseman, it 100% has to be up the middle. Obviously, pitching staff, we don't need it. I read somebody, it looked like it was Osama bin Diesel,
Yeah.
that said how unlikely is Judge. I would say so. Me and Joe had this conversation the other day. You have to call Aaron Judge. You
gotta
have to
call.
do your due diligence. Even if he's gonna get 10 for 800 million, you know what I mean? Like you gotta call him and just do your due diligence. And when he goes, "Yo, I want $7 billion," you say, "No, thanks."
I think
so.
I think we're out on
I
that
don't
point.
think. I don't think Judge is happening. I really don't. But you gotta call.
I do have the shortstop like free agent list pulled up from MLB Trade Rumors since we're talking about free agents now, not the postseason. Not to skip over some things. Dingus, Bogarts are bust. You're a big Bogarts fan there, Dingus, and
He is a big Bogarts
has
fan,
been
and
for a while.
I do love me some Xander, but I think that Trey Turner brings more to your lineup overall. They've both been incredibly consistent throughout their career.
Yeah,
But I think that Trey Turner is that leadoff guy that you want to put at the top of your lineup. I don't think you want to keep Julio leading off. I'm not saying you can't do it again for another year, but I think you would rather have Julio in the 2 or 3 spot.
driving more runs.
And then I would say Trey Turner at the top of the lineup. But of course, it all depends on how the offseason plays out. So
Yeah. You got
let's see.
Joshua. I got you. Joshua Mason's 8-bit bastards commented. I went to the clinch with my 7-year-old dad, our first game together ever, and we bought the tickets like 2 months in advance. Talk about luck. It's a great story. That's incredible.
Joshua. That is it. I also went with my dad. It wasn't our first game, but like going there with my dad was a super cool experience just to kind of have that memory with him because he was alive during the seasons where the Mariners made the playoffs before. I was not. So I think it was super cool.
A big like Mariners fan before that? Like
Nope.
before? Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Not to like discredit, your dad over there. But, anyways, it's a good story. It's a good moment for a lot of like fathers and sons, I think, in like that are Seattle sport fans.
You went to the game with the Brawl Phoenix down in Anaheim, bro. Let's go.
That's really sick. I don't think I've ever seen like a brawl in person, but that would be dope.
That's the first like brawl I've ever seen the Mariners get in. Like
Yeah.
that's the first time I've seen punches thrown with the Mariners in the game.
It's pretty wild. We got Pop Draw Studio. Another question: do you think Adam Frazier will have a bounce back year next season? I mean, there's potential for it. I don't know like where his just like bat to ball skills went, and I do think with the shift going away, you could see his average creep back like up to maybe like 270, but I don't think we're ever going to see first half 2021 Adam Frazier with the Pirates ever again. But it's depending on what you call a bounce back. Yes, I do think wherever he goes, whether he's with Seattle or he's with another team, I do think like the shift being gone and like maybe like a change of pace and environment could help him. If he stays with the team, I'm not really sure because like the rumors are already swirling about us looking for like, I don't want to say his replacement, but his replacement.
Let's talk a little bit about like
Frazier's
the
terrible.
way.
I can't.
Jerome going for the jugular, man.
Yeah, just straight for the jugular.
So I think let's talk a little bit about what Dipoto said. He said our biggest preference is to acquire a shortstop willing to play second base. And I think that
it's tough.
In saying that, like that's not the way you should say it because now you're going to be talking to these free agents and like I don't think any of them want to move to second base.
I mean, Trevor Story moved for Xander. Why would Xander move for like someone else? Like if he's
for JP Crawford.
Like, you know, and I get that like JP Crawford is like, you know, he's got like he's got the defensive prowess. But like does he warrant enough to like hold down that shortstop position? Like is he completely like irreplaceable? Like, I don't know. It's a tough ask. And like I get that like Dipoto is there and they're trying to create this like clubhouse environment and keep like, you know, people like I don't say like in their place, but like in the spot that they feel like they are, you know, most comfortable in. But trying to bring in a guy like one of those top tier shortstops, whether it's Trey, Xander, Dansby, or Correa, and ask them to move, it's a tough ask. Woo!
That's
we got a fiver. A little super chat fiver from Osama bin Diesel. Mariners bring back. I did see this message before. Saw you retracted and we didn't get to it before. I appreciate the 5 though. Mariners bring Felix back to toss the first pitch, you know, of that game, and then the Mariners offense regresses back a decade. There's lots of coincidences. I'm not gonna say that we're superstitious here at Mariners Mojo, but I would be willing to bet
a little stitious.
That the MLB and baseball itself is the most superstitious sport in the entire world. I'm a little biased, you know. There might be some other ones out there, but. Yeah, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but 2 teams not scoring for 17 innings. Maybe King Felix brought back a little of the juice there, you know.
Let me tell you, seeing Felix throughout the first pitch was the coolest thing in the world. That was like that was a moment, man. Like Joe and I, dude, Mason,
yeah, a tenner for Bogarts or die. Love you, bro. Appreciate the 10. You know,
Trey Turner better.
Trey Turner is better. I will take Turner. I'll give, you know what, just to help out the Trey Turner cause here, Dingus, aka Mason. I'll give Trey Turner that $10 just for you. Okay.
Yeah, if that helps bring him to Seattle, bro, he can have our AdSense and our
everything
super
all
chats,
together.
bro.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said, Osama, so I think that I saw some people tweet like, "Damn, the Mariners still cannot score for Felix Hernandez." Like, it's funny.
Perfect. It's literally perfect. Like you can't write it better than that. You want us to start a GoFundMe for Trey and or Xander? You got it, dog.
On it, dude. Brandon Wilson says, "I wish I was able to have gone with my dad. We went to several games during the '95 refuse to lose season. That would be so cool, man." I would love that. I wish I would have been alive for that.
The atmosphere, I feel like, just had to have been insane because they know what they have in that '95 season with like the stardom. And it's not to say that we don't have something like relatively similar, like with Julio and like Castillo on the mound, but like you've got several Hall of Famers on that '95 roster.
That is true. That is very, very true.
Got another fiver. Holy buckets, man!
Oh my gosh,
guys. Get another one. Getting 2 corner outfielders and 1 DH and settling on Frazier seems like not the worst choice. Way more outfielder free agents than infielders.
Interesting. So, let me
okay.
let me take this one here. So, 2 corner outfielders, 1 DH, and settling on Frazier. So what I think you're saying here, Y2K, is Frazier at second base, 1 DH. I'd be interested to hear who that DH would be. And this is like who you're suggesting.
Bring back Carlos Santana.
So they talked about that. Dude, we got 5 from Jackson. Guys, you
guys are going mad lads.
We are getting to all these. I promise.
Lots going.
So they talked about this yesterday, or Jerry did, and he said, "Dude, Jackson's coming through. I appreciate it, Jackson." He talked about bringing back Santana, and I think everybody would love to see Santana back. But he specifically said, I don't know how many of you guys watched the postseason presser, but basically that if Santana comes back, obviously Ty France is the first baseman, so Santana would be locked into DH. But also, we don't want to see Jesse Winker playing left field if he's still with the team.
What do you mean?
If we want to see Kyle Lewis up in the bigs again, he'll probably need a lot of time at DH. And if Mitch comes back, he would also need a lot of time at DH. And the fact of the matter is, that's 3 outfielders. So you cannot start every single one of them every single day. Otherwise, your defense is dead. And I think that Jared Kelenic deserves to see a decent amount of at-bats to start the year next year. I really do.
Yeah.
So, see from Jackson, this should help Stanton pay for one of the stud shortstops available.
We'll start sending them the money.
Stanton will pay 1 penny for every dollar sent, I think. That's about how he's been throughout his career with the Mariners.
There you go. We missed a part of Osama bin Diesel's
with the Seahawks
defense. Maybe we just didn't want to talk about it. I don't know if I don't want to talk about the state of the Seattle Seahawks. But I mean, I follow football the least, and MV Gino. Okay, I understand. I understand what's going on in Seahawks and Seattle football, and Russell Wilson just absolutely pooping the bed in Denver, which is hilarious, kind of. But yeah, the only good thing I can remember from the Seahawks season so far, I don't want to say only good thing, but they got a unique score with I think it was the Lions, 48-45. It was a unique score in NFL history, and I love it when that stuff happens because it's just completely random, dumb luck that this score has never happened in NFL history, and I love it when that stuff happens.
So let's see here. Savage, you lost your father in 2004 when you were 15. He had moved to Washington in 1977, so he was a fan of the Mariners, I'm assuming, from probably the moment the team became a team.
Yeah,
is what it sounds like, which is super cool. In 2001, we both wore M shirts damn near every day, but I'm down here. Where are you at, Savage? Where are you at right now?
If you don't mind us asking.
Let's see.
Got a preference.
Not about the team, but I have been to Seattle, Washington before. W Phoenix, love to see it. The other thing to remember about the 95 team is that the Seahawks sucked. So the M's were the number 1 Seattle sports team. It was electric, and we watched the games in school. I think that's kind of where we're going right now.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly do. Seattle's a baseball town, and everyone says it's not. Everyone says it's a football town, but I honestly think, based on what we saw with the Mariners, I think that they might be a bigger baseball town than they are a football town. We just haven't seen the Mariners be good in 20 years.
Whenever Adam Silver decides to expand the NBA and the Sonics come back, it's gonna
bring it back to the Sonics.
It's just gonna Seattle sports are gonna be blooming. Also, I don't know anything about the Kraken. I know they're bad last year. Who knows? Maybe they'll be good soon too.
They're bad this year.
Whatever, it'll get there. You gotta start somewhere, right? You can't. Everyone can't all be. Was it the Golden Knights? They won in their first season, Las Vegas.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We got another $2 from Y2K, bro. You guys are crazy. Kind of showing out. Last one. Do you trust Santander from the O's? Anthony Santander.
As in trust? What? I'm confused a little bit.
You don't have to super chat at Y2K, but it's do you mean would we like to get him back in a trade? Is I'm assuming what you're saying, or where would we like to have him? Because I personally
power hitter for
it's I like Anthony Santander.
It's a crowded outfield, but at the end of the day, depends on what we give up. But
it's a crowded outfield with a lot of question marks, though. Okay. Julio's the only
agent. What position does he play? Is he left, center, or right?
Anthony Santander's a free agent?
I'm looking.
Is he really?
I'm scoping. I'm not. Is he? He's got to be a left fielder if he's there. I'm not seeing him on the list unless it's not organized by last name alphabetically. We got Pham, Pinder, Pollock, Profar. We got no S's.
He might be in the last year of his deal in 2023. Do I think Jared Kelenic will be good next year? I think that he can't be any worse.
My man's JK. Savage is from Tulalip. Lit.
Let's see. Ever since I moved...
Sorry, you go.
Moved away from the East Coast to 2017, I told myself I'd drop everything to buy tickets from the M's to the playoffs. I ended up buying wild card tickets. So the best I got was the watch party. That's actually super dope. I'm a season ticket holder, quote unquote. I have the flex plan, so I was able to like get tickets to every series should they be in Seattle, and then I only got to go to that one game. But still,
we got. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm looking. You just read that. Oh, Dingus asked before the super chat, why did we only use one pinch hitter in the 18-inning game? The only pinch hitter I would have thought about using would have been Toro for Frazier at some point. That would have been my only one I think I would have tried to implement, because every other at bat felt like got another super chat. Every other at bat felt like the right person was in there, or we didn't have someone else that like I would have wanted more taking that at bat. Only Toro for Frazier, in my opinion. Super chat, $5. Go ahead. What?
I want to get back to what you said in a second, Mason. But first, Osama bin Diesel, Russell Wilson equals Seahawks A-Rod. And would A-Rod turn face if he brings back the Sonics? Oh, interesting. Also, if you saw the new Top Gun, does Kelnick look like Hangman? Did you see the new Top Gun, Joe?
Hold on, I'm looking it up. I got you, dog.
Yeah, look it up.
I'll pull it up in the topic there.
Perfect. Russell Wilson, the new Seahawks A-Rod, honestly, kind of. Like a little bit, which is actually crazy to me. Actually crazy to think that that's kind of where we're at. But
okay, I got it pulled up.
It does kind of seem that way. Let's see it.
Where are we at with this is Jared Kelnick. I'll get a different photo in a second, but it's close.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. What the heck?
Like a little bit. Seeger cover's going back up. Hold on. Time's called, guys. Time's called. Get a different photo. A couple other things I saw in there. Jerome was saying Seahawks are rebuilding at the moment. We know, but you can harp on teams that are rebuilding. The Mariners, same kind of situation. A couple years back, we can still, say some mitigated, I don't want to say predictions, but like overall thoughts about them. They're playing well for like what we expected, I think, but.
That is true. They were going to be way worse than they have been.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about a trade for Brian Reynolds? Jackson, it's tough. It really is tough because that has been talked about for so long and nothing's ever come to fruition. I would love Brian Reynolds. I think that'd be a great. It depends on the cost. Like, I'm not giving up like Harry Ford or like Emerson Hancock
British sensation Harry Ford.
British sensation.
The biggest British sensation named Harry since Harry Styles. Okay, just saying, he's bigger than Harry Styles.
That's so true.
This is another photo of Hangman. It shows a little bit of his hair. If he bleached it, yeah, that's Jared Kelnick.
He needs to get a little bit more jacked.
Oh, don't. Okay, fine. We're gonna show that picture next. Okay, you went there. I got a photo of his abs, or like his pecs.
Big bounce back in 2023. Kelnick, Winker, Frazier, I have no idea. Winker and Kelnick, I don't think they can get any worse. And I think Kelnick showed out pretty well in September again this year, like he did in 2020.
Look at that, man.
Kelnick's still bigger.
Okay, whatever. Well, yeah, he's a professional athlete. I would hope so.
He's a professional actor.
Okay.
Elite.
Whatever.
Santander, let's see, carrying a total salary of let's call it $7.5 million 2023. Okay. Honestly, I would love to have Anthony Santander. It'd be a 1-year rental, and I don't know where the Orioles see themselves. I honestly don't. Like, they might honestly see themselves as contenders.
They are.
Next year.
You don't think they're going to contend next year?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, well, it's because like at the deadline they didn't see themselves.
Yeah, they were
as contenders.
selling. Yeah, is this season like a flash in the pan? I think they'll get better. I think they'll get better as a team. I don't know if their record will get better, but I know they're changing the schedule next year, right? So teams are playing less division rivals. So like stacked like divisions, like the AL East, and also I guess the NL East to a degree, aside from like the Marlins. Well, could see like an increase in record a little bit, which like is an interesting kind of like nuance to think about when we're talking about the next season.
Mariners don't have to play the Astros 19 times in the season anymore, baby. Let's go.
They also have to play, some dogs from the AL East, but that's who? Whomstative? Mason said not Trammell for Kelenic. Taylor Trammell.
Yeah,
Alan Trammell.
Way to go, Mason.
Taylor Trammell.
I think that Kelnick was the right option. I think Kelenic was the guy to get it done. He has a flair for the dramatic. He's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's decent in big moments.
Yeah.
And I think Trammell is better off the bench as a speed guy to pinch run. And I think Trammell did pinch run at some point.
I think so too.
During that game.
Might have been for Santana when he got to second after he
I think it was.
There was like a ball in the dirt and Santana broke immediately.
Yeah,
I was laughing my ass off. Just like, oh my god, he's going. Man's got wheels.
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. 18 inning game, didn't pinch run for Suarez. Yeah, hindsight's 2020, man.
Dude.
Pinch running for Suarez there, you want to win it right then, but then there was like another 37 at bats that Suarez could have had that game. So
I will die on the hill that the ball that Dylan Moore hit to the warning track, Gino hits that ball out, game's over. If he's still in it. Like 1,000,000,000%. I know it's not a 1-to-1 at bat. Gino's not going to see the same pitch mix or like location that Dylan Moore saw, but man, it you can't help but, think, what if? Or Julio dropped his shoulder a little bit more, got underneath the ball, hit the ball out of Edgar's Cantina a little bit.
That was so close, dude. That made me so sad. Think we overpaid for Robbie Ray? It's an interesting choice because they paid more for Robbie Ray than they did for the extension for Luis Castillo, and that's funny to me.
Who has a Cy Young?
That's also true.
Who has a Cy Young?
But that's true. Robbie Ray has a Cy Young. That's true.
Let me play devil's advocate really fast.
Robbie Ray's walk rate went back up this year, which is a problem.
Yeah, his velo was down at the beginning of the year too. Big time. That was a big difference at the beginning of the year.
It's tough to say because last year for Robbie Ray was, or I'm sorry, I guess 2022 was the last year. 2021 for Robbie Ray is kind of the outlier of his career, which scares me a little bit. But what's Robbie doing there?
We're talking about Robbie Ray for a second. I figured I'd pull him up.
He looks cute on there. Look at him.
Saying, let's give him one more season before we say much. I can agree to that.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're not done. We're not selling Robbie Ray fully.
Oh, absolutely.
He was good. He was great in many games. It's just in moments where we needed him to be great in other games, it wasn't. So it's a little bit give and take. Maybe a little growing pains with the organization at the start and figuring out where we're at as a team, as a ball club.
Yeah, and he was the vocal leader for that team. Believe it or not, in the end, he was a leader for the team, which actually surprised the hell out of me that he ended up being a leader. So,
I mean, it's good to see too. Is in his first season, he was able to not want to say control, but have that impact on the clubhouse and just in general, and when he might be able to pick up other guys when he gets when they get down and vice versa. It seems like it's a healthy relationship between him and the guys, even though he might have had results that an underwhelming season, I would say, coming off a Cy Young award.
Right, and he still wasn't bad. No. I mean, he wasn't terrible. He just wasn't.
He wasn't
what we had hoped he would be.
5 for 115 or 115 for 5, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Hopes for the 2023 season, World Series or bust. What about Dansby Swan?
I don't know about World Series or bust. Dansby would be great. I'm pretty sure, is just a Georgia native, and the Braves front office put something in the juice in the water down there in Atlanta because they're just getting all their young guys signed for very team friendly contracts. I would not be surprised to see Dansby go back to the Braves on maybe not such a team friendly contract, but if you look back at those four. Hey, we got a subscriber, Mossberg Crazy. Just subscribed.
Yo,
Appreciate
let's go,
that.
Mossberg.
Out of those four, out of the four main shortstops, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dansby see the least amount of money.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
From being honest,
100%.
Whether or not that's a tell of his statistical career and where he's at projection wise and everything like that, but I also think he might just take a more team friendly deal regardless.
Yeah, he's going to sign a 10-year, $5 deal with the Atlanta Braves. This is true.
That's perfect. He is going to be a guy working the concession stand in between innings when he's not up to bat.
That is correct, because he needs his money.
Yeah, that's his payment.
I still believe that Marco and Flexen have no use in the rotation. Give me Hancock.
It's too early,
It's
bro.
tough to say.
Too early.
Yeah. Can you pull up Hancock's stats really quick? We just have a little chat about
Give me the time is called graphic, please. Thank you. Emerson Hancock.
Over under for broken fingers on the Mariners in 2023.
2.5. Oh, over. Way over. Taking over.
We got the over this year.
Oh yeah.
In the past like 2 months.
You want his stats pulled up, you said?
If you could, that would be phenomenal.
Baseball reference?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Who's your favorite player on the Mariners this season? I mean, it's hard not to go for Julio.
Yeah.
I've been harping on Julio for years, saying that he was going to be good. So it was super cool to actually see him finally come up and produce the way that everyone thought he could. But if I had to pick a dark horse player that I really like, I really like Logan Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert's a good one to pick. I think if I had to pick like a pitcher and a position player, again, it's hard not to go with Julio. And there's not a wrong answer on the team right now. I don't think, because there's a lot of likable qualities about a lot of the guys, even if they're not like, say, like JP Crawford started hitting off like 320 this year, and then he ended at 250.
True.
But like he's a great presence. And, like there was one game where he was mic'd up playing shortstop, and it was just phenomenal, as you would say. Phenomenal. I don't know.
Okay, so let's see. Emerson Hancock.
So the screen is pretty small. So how much further do you?
I can see it.
Okay, you can see it. Okay, that's fantastic to hear.
So I don't think I wouldn't say that he's Suarez and Castillo.
Those are good picks. Better be Luis Castillo, not Diego. But regardless of that,
we get it. We get that you like the Reds. All right, so I don't know, Mason. Ever since he went up to Arkansas, he definitely faltered a little bit.
3.75.
His whip went up. He was allowing more hits per 9. His strikeouts per 9 hover around the same, but I don't know. His peripherals are still decent. But the thing is Arkansas is also a very pitcher-friendly ballpark. So
Colty.
It's got
Y2K, thanks for another $2.
Dude, Y2K,
right,
you said that it was your last one. Oh my goodness. Dude, right answer is Kirby. I do love me some George Kirby. I definitely do love me some George Kirby.
Should I bring in the Kirby plushie or what?
Yes, please. That'd be great.
Here, we got him.
Heck yeah.
We'll just leave it like this the rest of the time. How about that?
Honestly, it looks better. Okay, so
that's great. Great to hear.
You're kind of ugly. Yo, boys, if you guys haven't liked the stream yet, by the way, it'd make me smile.
Get a like spike.
Get a like spike?
I'll spike Kirby for the like spike.
I don't think that's what you should do.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, shoulder surgery as well. The thing is, when we saw him in okay, you can come back now. It's creeping me out.
I'm coming. I'm back. I'm here. It's like I never left. Like I never left.
When we saw him in the what was it, the All-Star, their version of All-Star game?
Future Stars.
Future Stars. Thank you. God,
I'm so smart all the time.
He was so good in the Future Stars game, and it's hard because he, by popular baseball rankings, was often ranked above both Kirby and Gilbert coming up. Well, obviously not that long with Gilbert, because I don't even know if they were ever on the prospect list at the same time together. But
you think Hancock is like a higher rated prospect than Gilbert and Kirby, is what you're saying?
A lot of to he was. Okay. Yeah, with Kirby for sure. I don't remember.
Smash that like Gilbert button. Sorry.
Dude, smash that like button, Smile. But it's like, I would love to see Hancock, but I don't think he's there yet. I don't think that he should begin 2023 in the rotation.
I think like at the end of the year, depending on how he's like pitching in like AA or AAA, wherever he starts out, or like how he does in spring. Like, where was Brash at last season?
Single A, I think.
No shot, he was only in Single A.
I think he might have been, bro.
I'm looking up Matt Brash, but like Brash, he got the fifth spot out of spring training. Obviously, that didn't pan out super well, aside from him transitioning to the bullpen after that. But like, okay, hold up, I'm pulling up minor leagues. 2021. Oh, daddy.
Dude, Jimbo, we appreciate it, bro.
2021, he was in the double. He was in AA he went 3-2, made 10 starts in AA. And then he was an A+. What?
This is more important. Somebody said brash that like button.
I can get behind that one. Brash that like button.
Love the content from y'all this season. Keep up the great work, dude. Jim, we appreciate that, man. Thank you so
You
much.
got it, dog.
Who do you think the Mariners starting rotation will be next year? I think the way it'll line up, like if I'm not talking like these are the best to the worst pitchers, I'm just saying the way they'll probably line it up is they'll go Castillo. Ooh, I think they'll go Castillo, Ray, and then more than likely just to keep splitting up righty lefty, they'd probably go Gilbert and then Marco and then Kirby as the quote unquote five, even though obviously he's better than Marco, but to have a lefty in between the two righties, I think. And I wouldn't be shocked if they went with a six man to start the year with Flexen, or they try to trade Flexen or Marco, one of the two. And obviously Flexen's in the last year of his deal next year. Marco still has a couple more years. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can get for him, but there are some teams that just need innings eaters, and both of them are that. So,
I think starting with the six man could make sense too. With like they talked about it in the presser a little bit about like someone asked about innings, like innings limit and like pitch limit and stuff like that, and they were talking about like how like George and like Logan exceeded like what they probably had expected for them at the beginning of the year, but they both then conceded in that same way that like yeah, like their bodies were telling them though that like they can keep going, like they don't need that kind of like that get like that stop at that point. So I think maybe like slow into spring training, maybe ease them into like the first like month of the season as well with the six man rotation, then like going into May ironing out that fifth man rotation could be, you know, a way to look at it. And then also you've brought it up when we've talked just like in private about injuries with the rotation and stuff like that. Like you can never have enough starting pitching. And especially with a year like this where we didn't really see any injuries to our starting pitchers, we got pretty lucky, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners need depth, and I think rotation is the one position they have a lot of depth at.
Yeah.
Is because, I mean, you have the option with Marco and Flexen to not necessarily have a full number five.
I clowned on your tweet about like y'all hating on Marco like he isn't like the best number five starter in the game. And you're not wrong though when you say that. Like it's just when we view Flexen and Marco in previous years, they weren't our number five. And so like now that we have that like we have that safety net for them to be the five, both of them are more than capable, I think, of being a fifth on any team, let alone the Seattle Mariners.
And with the possibility of injury, I mean, they have, again, Emerson Hancock in the minor leagues. They can bring up, I think Juan Ten's probably ready at some point. He's been in the system what feels like forever.
An ancient,
Taylor Dollard.
He's full of lore, Juan Ten. Just so much lore for you.
That is true.
I just feel like you've been talking about him forever.
I have been talking about Juan Ten forever because the Mariners traded him and then got him back. I don't even remember what trades they were anymore. He was involved in like a Edwin Encarnacion trade. We got him back. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
Does Dylan Moore have a place on this team next year? I think 100% he does. I think Dylan Moore and Sam Haggerty will 100% still be able to coexist on this team, especially with Ham Swaggerty, especially with the idea of the shifts going away and also the pitch clock rules and whatnot. I think that their speed is going to play an even bigger factor next year. And Scott and Jerry and they've talked a lot about how they like to have it kind of like an NL centric like roster. So there's a lot of moving parts. It's not like where you have a guy, a lot of times the American League teams where you have one true outcome guy where you have like Matt Stairs on your bench. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, Matt Stairs would be great on the bench, but it's nice to have versatility on the bench where you can plug these guys at literally any spot in the roster if you need to.
And also, I think they have a lot of versatility in the lineup as well. You're not going to want to hit them towards the top, but like if you needed to for any specific reason, you could because they have a lot of speed.
Right, and I think that it really shows, especially in regards to Dylan Moore, is Scott pushed him up the lineup to like the fifth spot against, I think it was Framber Valdez.
Yeah.
And it really, really paid off. Like it was a great move. He took Kelenic out of the lineup, moved Dylan Moore up to the 5 spot, and that was like one of their 2 runs that game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love Dylan Moore. What do you got there?
Dylan Moore's, he doesn't have very many baseball savant percentile rankings here, but I figured I'd pull up Dylan Moore a little bit. There's one question I want to talk about. Or not a question, just a comment. We should trade Marco, Pop Draws Studio says. And then right after that, isn't it awesome to pretty much have your starters locked before the offseason even starts? second part there, yes, 100%. Like it takes a lot of pressure off of the front office and the team as a whole, I think, to like not have to worry about pitching. Now, as far as trading Marco, I think we talked about this. We do. What could we get for Marco? Like where would we package Marco? How is that going to work in terms of like wanting to trade him, or like what would be an expected return? Because I don't think it's much.
I still think that Marco Gonzalez is worth more to the Mariners than he is to other teams for what he brings to the team, the leadership he brings to the clubhouse, and the fact that he's a dependable number 5. That the thing is, Marco, we can get frustrated with him. We kind of know what we're going to get every time Marco starts.
Yeah, he's going to give up a home run in the first inning and then settle down for 4, and then maybe once he gets into the 6th inning, it's a little sketchy. Every single time. Especially to Luis Rengifo. Especially. Like, without fail.
I don't want to talk
He's
about
Barry
Luis
Bonds.
Rengifo.
He's Barry Bonds. Did Swanson stare down service after he struck out Alvarez? I was not there, and I was driving while listening to the game, so I cannot tell you, but I would not be surprised.
I was there, but I was too busy going, oh, how about that? Crazy how that works. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to say whether or not we should have used Swanson earlier. It's not tough to say we should have been using him the entire time. Anyways,
I want to do one little caveat back to Eric's question about having the rotation set. We also have pretty much most of the roster itself set. Like the Mariners, we've seen, 20 new guys on the roster every single year. I think this time around, we're going to see I think we're going to see a lot of the same players over the next couple of years on this team. Obviously, like I think after 2024, the only person that is not signed is like Jesse Winker, and that's it.
Darn.
Like that's literally it that is currently on the roster.
Yeah.
So, and obviously this year, Mitch is gone, Frazier's gone, but that's it. So it's really not that.
And there's still potential for us to get them back, maybe even on team-friendly deals if they so choose.
Right. Got to think we're going to see a dramatic increase in stolen bases next season. I agree, and that's why I made a video about this when they first announced it. Is I think that like we're going to see Julio steal 40. I do.
I hope so. I wanted him to get the 30-30 this year, but the fucking lower back pissing me off.
Next year when he gets to 60-60, it's going to be crazy.
60-60. They're juicing the balls again, baby. Let's go. Got juiced balls. You can't pick off more than twice. Oh, man. It's going to be great.
That's another reason why we should sign Trey Turner.
There you go. Speed kills, baby.
Do we extend France or wait to see if he can perform again like he did at the beginning of the season? I think we extend him. I think that we do our best to extend him. If nothing else, at least try to buy out his arbitration years.
Yeah.
So we know what we're going to get, what we're going to be paying him. Because I think he's under contract for probably the next 4 or 5 years, probably the next 4. And so I think that if you can buy out and maybe one free agent year from him, I think that'd be a win. I mean, Evan White's still a thing.
Who?
Like, Evan White does still exist. Is he the first baseman of the future? No. But Jerry did say that when Evan came back this year, he was very dynamic down at Triple Play. So
Triple Play.
I think Triple A.
Whoa.
Throwback.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would benefit the Mariners to sign France to a team-friendly deal, and I think they should really follow the Brave model here, the Braves model that they have set of just extending everybody they can.
Please.
Because the Braves are set up to be really good for a really long time.
It's going to be scary. I mean, they got clowned on by Philadelphia, but regardless of that, Phillies, dude, my World Series pick all the way back in March of this year. I have the receipts for it, too.
Oh, my God, it was.
And you laughed at me. I picked the Phillies. Anyways.
I'm going to throw up.
Isn't it crazy that Marco was our ace a few years ago? I don't want to talk about it. What do you want to see as a backup? What do we want to see as backup catcher? Not Terens or Casali. Honestly, bring Harry Ford up. He's ready.
Yep, let's bring the man up. Let's rush him like we did Mike Zunino, who the Mariners should sign as the backup catcher this year. I don't think that Mike Zunino would want a backup job.
Just a reunion tour.
I mean, Tom Murphy's back next year.
Yeah, I think
Tom Murphy is a great backup.
We'll be fine.
I think you can keep Terens around as like a worst case scenario. I mean, if we are looking at free agents, Omar Narvaez is a free agent that we could bring back as well.
Another reunion.
I mean, both are decent backup catchers. So
yeah, that's true. Very true.
I don't want to see people like Mike Ford and Steven Souza play. It's interesting to think back on that.
Those were the dark. I mean, that was May, right? Wasn't that May?
I think so.
That was darkest timeline when Steven Souza Jr., Mike Ford, and Justin Upton were all seeing at bats in the Mariners.
And look at where the season ended.
Hey man,
stuff like that happens.
Rags to riches. You gotta walk a mile in my Louis Vuittons or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah. Surprised JP doesn't steal more often. That's I mean, like, again, following up like with those comments just right after that, what Y2K is saying. I don't think he's bad at stealing. I mean, he doesn't have great base running. Like,
he gets bad jumps.
Yeah, which is like fair. But like, also, how do I word this? It seems like his legs are very fragile in a weird way. Like, some shortstops can steal bags and like can put it on the line in that way, and like you're not worried about like what they're doing to their like traitor to their like body in that way, because like that like they're gonna be fine. They have like the durability. I don't know if JP just has that in his legs. I don't know what it is. To me, that's just what it feels like. He's not confident running the bags, and that might
I
be
agree.
why. He's just not confident. Whoever trained Julio how to run, trained JP how to
run. Which will happen first? Kelnick being an all-star for the Mariners or being in a boy band?
All-star.
Joe?
All-star. Hold on. Oh god, I just hit something.
This looks great, yeah.
You don't like my Discord background? How are we gonna see it? Where's it at? Can you see it? Can you
stand up a little bit?
Can you see Kelnick?
Oh, there it is. There's that Kelnick jersey. Let's go.
He'll be an all-star in like 2 years. Give him time.
Who is your dark horse MLB team for next year? That's an interesting question.
The Baltimore Orioles. I don't know if that
counts.
Are
they might not be a dark horse anymore, yeah. That's a great question.
It's just going to be the Oakland Athletics. Every other year they can just like win 95 games for whatever reason.
Shut up. Stop. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Los Angeles Angels. I want to throw up.
Yeah, I mean, like, Angels. You say that we've said that every year that Mike Trout's been in the MLB.
That's the thing, is eventually it has to end, and one of these years is going to be like, I told you, even though I say it every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't 90s,
know. I can't
Griffey, Randy, 10s, Felix Ichiro, 20s, J-Rod, Walter.
Get behind
I'm down for that. Let's see.
I think it could even be like, there could be like a Hydra kind of situation going on, like a three-headed dragon of Walter, Kirby, and Hancock, or even Walter, Kirby, and Castillo, easily.
Yeah, you guys remember the big three? You guys remember Taijuan Walker, James Paxton, and Danny Holtzen, the big three?
Hey, man.
This is the real big three.
Yeah, we got trolled a little bit back then, but we're here now. We're happy about it.
Eric says, I'm thinking back to 2019 when Machado and Harper stayed on the open market deep into spring training. Now one of their teams will be in the World Series. What could have been? I just don't think, as much as I would have loved. Yeah, it just wasn't. It was too early in the rebuild process. I mean, yeah. And for what it's worth, I appreciate that they didn't go all out spending money. Read it.
I read it. I already read it. Okay, I want to talk about, could we afford Shohei first? We could have in the free agent market, and then we got bamboozled by the Angels. We shouldn't have even need to trade for anything for him. We should have just signed him and offered him a little bit more money, and we would have had him from the beginning. But it would take a lot to get Shohei Ohtani, and I don't know if it's worth blowing up. Because we were close enough this year where I think bringing in Shohei and like the implications of what it would cause, like the repercussions essentially to like after, might not be worth it at the end of the day. But again, a World Series, win is like a lot of people's like prized possession. So it could be like a situation like that.
Just wait a year, sign him in free agency. He's not going back to the Angels
if they continue to lose.
He already said he's not going back.
Yeah, he said it was like a pretty bad, like a pretty like sour taste in his mouth, right? And that was kind of
he's kind of like there. Yeah,
the general like understanding. All right, I'll freaking read it. How would Joe feel if Kelenic pulled a Justin Smoak and started mashing after he left Seattle? If I'm being honest, I'd be happy for him. Like, it's hard not to be. Like, I've wanted him to succeed, so it would be selfish of me to be bitter. And I would be selfish too. I would be a little bit bitter that it didn't work out with the Mariners. But like at the same time, like, you know, you root for good baseball success across the whole sport because it breeds better competitive, like just like nature in baseball. It just, I don't know, it brings about baseball in a more like prominent way. So I'd be upset, but I would also be happy. It'd be bittersweet.
The Angels spend all their money on 2-star players. You mean like the Seattle Mariners, Robinson Cano, and Felix Hernandez in the 2014 to 2019 era? Yeah. Same idea, which hurts me.
It hurts to say, to slander it in that way. Who will be the biggest name we will get this offseason? Smooth Max, I got you. Likely, I think maybe Xander Bogaerts. Above him, like in the less likely scale, I would say Trey Turner. I don't like.
Yeah.
We talked about it slightly earlier about free agent class. You call Aaron Judge, and then you hang up the phone when he tells you 10 years, $600 million. Right? You hang up the phone at that point. But
you call Jacob deGrom.
You call the big guys, and you go from there. But it has to be one of the shortstops, Max. I think it has to be one of the shortstops, and you go from there.
I think Xander is also the most likely to want to come to Seattle.
Yeah.
So
I've heard rumors that he has ties to someone in the front office in Arizona, which would be interesting. I don't know.
No shot he's going to go to Arizona.
I know, but like I'm just there. Someone's saying it. Okay, he's got like someone like in the Diamondbacks front office used to work for the Red Sox. Not saying that's necessarily like a shoe-in, but I pulled up the shortstops list again. Shohei's got to be a 10, 500 plus.
I was reading the same thing.
Got to be.
Shohei.
It's there's no way to like, you can't fully show how much value he brings.
Yeah, you can't gauge how valuable he is.
And it's hard to gauge how big of a contract it would be. But if I had to pick, I think you nailed it, 10 for 500, which is insane to think about.
I think that I think that Shohei Ohtani, at least for the Mariners, it'd have to be a very incentive-laden deal. Because he also has a good chance to get hurt. A very good chance to get hurt.
Yeah, he's doing more than any other MLB player, I feel like.
And I think he turns 30 next year, right? And I don't want to sign a 30-year-old to a 10-year deal. I think that
What if he's Tom Brady and he's going to play till he's 45?
Then good for freaking him, man.
Shohei Ohtani is 28. He just turned 28. Bro, Shohei Ohtani, July 5th, 1994. So he just turned 3 months ago, 28. So he'll be 29. Okay. And then in his free agent year, he will be going into his age 30 season.
Shohei would fix the Marco issue. He looked up to Ichiro and multiple offers. Connor. So the thing is I know very specifically when Shohei was going through the posting process from Japan, he specifically said one of the things he didn't want to do was go somewhere where he has to try to live up to another Japanese player. So it'd be interesting to see how that would affect him now. Obviously, he's established himself.
Yeah.
And the Angels had never really had a Japanese player that had come over and, made a name for themselves. So it'd be interesting to see where it's at now.
It's an interesting, caveat there, too.
What kind of deal do you think Bogaerts and Turner get, Joe? I'm interested.
The Rendon deal, we said, is the baseline, right? Coming off a almost Cy Young season, and not Cy Young, Jesus Lord.
Anthony Rendon.
I feel like Shohei lands in the Mets. I was thinking about Shohei. I was thinking about how he could win the Cy Young at some point. Whatever. Like an MVP third, I think is what he finished. So it was 7 for 245 was the Rendon deal, and
I believe so.
I said that's what I think the benchmark is, a little bit higher for Turner, and you laughed at me.
I would agree.
I think Turner's getting more. I think if it's at 7, I think he's getting 260. 270.
Yeah?
I think so. For Turner,
what did I say?
If Turner's getting, because it's just grown, right? The market has grown. Players are going to get more money. So 7 for 260, I think, is where he might land. And then for Bogaerts, if it's going to be 5 or 6, I think it's around that 220 to 240 area.
Yeah,
if I had to try and put a number on it, I am no GM. I am no, agent. I'm no master negotiator, but that's where I would put it at.
I would not personally give Trey Turner $37 million a year. And Bogarts, I'd be willing to give Trey Turner 32 a year. I'd be willing to give Bogarts 30 a year.
Yeah.
For both over 7. I would like
10?
both of them. Yeah, I would like both
Fair.
of them over 7. Let's see.
Do we think that we could win the AL West depending on our off-season pumpkin pie?
Absolutely.
How many games off were we? What were we, like 14?
11.
11 back? That's it?
Astros win 101 or they win 104?
I think it was 104. I think we were like closer to like 14 games back.
Were we?
MLB.
Keep talking. I'm going to look it up.
MLB standings. I'm got it, bro. I'm faster than you.
They won 106. 16.
All right, 16,
they were 16 back.
16 games back. If May doesn't exist, we're only like 7 games back. I don't know. It's tough. Depending on the offseason, yes, but I don't see the Astros getting worse. If that makes sense. Like
see the Astros getting
I don't see them. I don't see them getting much worse. I don't know if they can replicate 106 wins, but will the Mariners win over 100 games next year? I think is the question at hand. If we win 100 games, could we win the division? The answer might still be no, because the Mets and the Braves showed us that.
I think that the hard part with the Astros is they're losing their ace, and they could re-sign Verlander, absolutely. But is he the same pitcher that next year that he was this year?
I mean, they were worried about that last season, and here we are.
This is true, but similar to the Angels, eventually something's got to give. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. So, I think I would give it a coin flip. I'd say 50-50 shot.
Magic Conch. Will the Mariners win the division next year? Magic Conch.
No. Yeah.
Let's see. We need a quality hitter to help Gino and Julio. Bogarts or Turner. Lol easy. Ohtani wants out of the AL West. I wouldn't be shocked. It'd be interesting to see if he does.
Yeah.
They got the Astros in the division. Who? I have a bad feeling about Shohei. Former Angels that don't play well in Seattle. Sean Figgins. Flashbacks. Kendrys Morales.
Literally, like Sean Figgins is like my my sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah. We skipped over slight one. Pop asked thoughts on Toro. Where are you at with Toro on a patience scale? I guess. How much more time are you giving to Abraham Toro?
I think that he can start next year on the roster, but short leash.
Okay.
Short leash. Like
he needs to stop hitting right-handed.
Dylan Moore can do everything Abraham Toro can do, and if Toro doesn't show up, get rid of him. Keep Dylan Moore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's see. Robbie Ray becomes a mop-up pitcher. I mean, why not? Oh, pumpkin pie, we got you. Let us read through the rest of this really quick. And that is exactly where we were going to go next. Was Winker. Okay. So, Stroh's only getting better. I'm going to throw up.
I mean, Zach C. He's exposing himself as an Astros fan here.
Listen, Zach. All right.
I'm just playing.
Mariners need one more superstar hitter, another bullpen arm, and a starter, and they'll be unstoppable. I agree about the hitter. I think the bullpen and the starters, they're fine. I think they need to go all out and focus solely on the lineup. Like, if they get a bullpen pitcher, great. If they get a starter, I don't think they should spend their money on a starter, to be honest with you. But if they don't go all out filling out a lineup, that was their biggest weakness this year. And with pretty much the entire team coming back, that's the one thing you need to fix. So
we were like, what, bottom 20 in most offensive categories?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bottom third of the baseball. Yeah. And we'll have videos kind of talking about who specifically we want them, and like maybe even on what kind of deals we want.
Yeah.
Coming out as we get a little bit further into the off season. But yeah, we have a plan. We've put together an off season plan.
We are the GM.
Of course he will be good. He has a new arm. I hate him. Not you, Zach. I hate Justin Verlander. Stros lose Correa and Springer and replace him with Alvarez and Pena. Unfair. Hey, man, that's what good teams do right there.
That Jordan for Josh Fields trade is insane. That's like looking back on it, that's just wild.
Yep. That one makes me want to throw up almost as much as Freddie Peralta for Adam Lind.
Anyways.
Seattle and Houston will be going at it for a while. I agree, Zach. I think that this is the new Yankee Red Sox. I think. Yeah, I said it. That's right. I said it. I'm writing it down now. Yankees, Red Sox, move aside.
Wow.
Mariners, Astros.
That's
A
something.
lot of bad blood between those two teams. A lot of bad blood between the Mariners and the Astros. I remember middle of the year or earlier in the year, a lot of pitches thrown at Mariners, and then subsequently a lot of pitches thrown at the Astros, and then having it all culminate in the ALDS, especially after the shit that their fans pulled on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts on Winker, Colton?
The Astros to the ground. All right, Jesse Winker. So, as a lot of you probably know, okay,
I've got some of the coverage of the presser right here.
Perfect. So our boy Jay Wink was MIA during the postseason for the Mariners. You didn't see him in the dugout. You saw guys like Tom Murphy, Casey Sadler. They were there. Jesse Winker was not. Raised a lot of eyebrows. Okay, are you looking for Jesse Winker?
Yeah, I was.
Raised a lot of eyebrows about where the heck this dude was. And then a report came out from Ryan Divish saying this was on the Brock and Salk show about how his work ethic was really poor. There were rumors that, he got mad about getting called out for his defensive, like how he played defense and how he was not ready to play in both games of a doubleheader. There were a lot of
That's kind of funny to imagine.
That is kind of
just
funny.
like chilling in the clubhouse. Oh, we got another game going? What? I thought we were done.
And how a lot of the teammates, it was a tired act he had going on. They were kind of tired of the way that he acts around, with practice and so on and so forth. And the Mariners had put him on the IL with a neck issue at the end of the year. And it was just very abrupt, nothing. It all went away. And that's when Kelnick came up, and Kelnick was there. So during the presser, they brought up Jesse Winker. And Joe, do you want to read that a little bit?
Before I do. Osama bin Diesel says, if Seattle Houston is the new Sox Yankees, does this make Toro Babe Ruth? I think it does. Graveman would have hit a home run for us in the division series. But Toro would have struck out Jeremy Pena.
That was very funny.
I'm tired of Winker. We gave Winker enough chances, even only in a singular season. We gave him enough chances. That was an interesting thought. So I have where's that? Okay, injury updates. The first paragraph here is about Jesse Winker. When Shannon Drayer asked a general injury update question, Dipoto addressed the recent drama, directly saying that Jesse Winker wasn't with the team during the playoff run because he was having surgery in New York on his left knee, which had apparently been an issue for a while. Winker also is expected to have a procedure on his neck, having gotten a second opinion on that injury. It was like a disc bulge or something. And when we heard about his neck injury, we thought that's kind of weird. He just got hit on his wrist or his forearm right before he went on the injured list. I think it was in that Royals series. I think might have been shortly after that. And we were expecting a wrist injury, and that is not the case. So that's on Jesse there. And then there's another bit here. This is on Lookout Landing. Wait, right? Lookout Landing? Yeah, it's on Lookout Landing. More on Jesse Winker, saying, regarding Winker's knee injury, Dipoto says it was a factor all season long and reiterated his faith in Winker's offensive abilities, noting he was an awesome offensive player for 5 years prior to this. You would attest to that as well. You are a big Winker stan prior to the season. He's 28 years old. There's no reason he stopped being the type of player he's always been. Dipoto also notes it's unfortunate the injury occurred in Winker's first year in Seattle, that he wasn't able to show the full extent of his skill set to fans. But he's confident that he'll rehab the injury and return to the player that he's always been. Excuse me. Let me just pull up what player he was.
So Jesse Winker, right? I think that
Juicy
should.
Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Juicy Wiener. He's that dude. Okay.
Just throw up the end screen. No, and
no Juicy Wiener jokes here? All right.
So I think that Jesse Winker, if he can be the player he was in Cincinnati, that'd be awesome, man. We could have him batting 2 or 3.
305, 394, 556, 949 with a 143 OPS plus. Yeah. I can
live with that.
I'd take it.
I can live with that
pretty happily.
And a left-handed power bat,
Yeah.
The thing is, I think that we'll see him a lot at DH.
Yeah.
not so much in left field, which is another reason why I think Kelnick should get most of the reps in left field, at least to start the year. If Kelnick is Dustin Ackley's second coming, then so be it. But I think that they need to give Kelnick that chance. And Winker, it's just so tough to say, because I completely agree that he just looked like he wasn't trying all year. It honestly did look like he just was not trying. And it's very strange to me. They had questions about his work ethic in that same press conference.
Yeah.
And Scott Service skirted around that question so much that it kind of blew my mind how blatantly he skirted around the question of Winker's work ethic. And he said, does Jesse have a lot of things that he needs to work on? Yes. And that's basically the extent of what he said.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Winker has a place on the team next year. I think Winker and Mitch both have a place on the team next year. I do.
Mason asks, Dingus, if Haniger doesn't... Oh, hold on. Before we get there. Who do we think the Astros or Yankees will reach the World Series? I think it's the Astros, personally.
I think it's the Astros, too. They're just too damn good. They are just too good. It's just a fact of the matter. They are the best team in baseball, I think.
Jim Dayworth has subscribed. Jim?
Oh,
appreciate you, dog.
Jim.
Okay. If Haniger doesn't resign...
Jim also said, hold on, you're on the topic of Jim. Jim, my boy Jim, said apparently Toro has some pitching skills. Let's freaking go, closer Abraham Toro.
I missed that part. My bad, Jim. My bad, dog.
Don't ever do that to Jim again.
I'll never disrespect Jim ever again. Jim, hopefully you can forgive me. If not, you can replace me on the podcast. You just got to change the second letters, and it's like the same thing.
See you there, Jim.
If Haniger doesn't resign, who are we putting in right field? I mean, Kelnick goes to right, we sign another outfielder.
Yeah, I think Kelnick's...
Like a Brandon Nimmo or a Benintendi or even like
Conforto. Conforto, yeah. I mean, there are outfielders on the free agent market if need be. If Haniger does decide to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe that Mitch Haniger will be back next year. I honestly, like, if I had to put the odds, I put it 70-30 that Haniger's back next year.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, he talked so much about winning the World Series with the Mariners, getting them there, and I think the Mariners really appreciated his leadership. And so I think it'd be weird to have him not back next year.
Yeah, and it would feel strange, like, depending on, like, how, like, if there was, like, any fallout with it. Yeah. Kind of similar to, like, when, like, Seager retired and there was, like, a lot of, like, whoa, like, we don't know what's going on here. Like whether or not he was approached about it is, like, felt kind of weird vibes.
Look, it's Kyle Seager.
Dude.
Time is called.
Jerry doesn't...
I hate Jared Weaver.
Okay. Jerry doesn't make big signings. He makes big trades. What trade targets are out there? That's a valid point. I think there's differences in, like, timing for, like, how free agent signings can work and, like, trade acquisitions can work. I get what you're saying, though. Jerry's, he's the mastercraft of the trades. But I think there's room for the Mariners to make big signings. But if there was a trade target, I mean, we talked about Brian Reynolds earlier, but that might be one. If there's a trade target, it's got to be a second baseman. You brought up Jazz Chisholm the other day, and I think that would be sick.
That would be super cool. I would love Jazz Chisholm.
I think that he'd be too expensive. I don't know, like, what other second basemen are out there that we would, like, want to bring in that, like,
Ketel Marte
would be valuable. Yeah, I mean, Ketel could be good. I mean, there's great second basemen, but whether or not they're on the market is the question. Like, how steep if the price is. Like, yeah, there's plenty of second basemen I can think of, but, like, if you're gonna go out and trade for, like, a position that you could theoretically fill with a free agent, I feel like it's got to be, like, close in value. And, like, people I've saw, like, talking about, like, trading for, like, Kiner Falefa or, like Gleyber Torres and putting them at second. I don't know how I feel about that because, like, I don't think they're on that same level as, like, what we potentially could have in free agency, if that makes sense.
Right. And if you miss out on all those guys and that's your only avenue, then sure. But I think that, kind of going back to the meat and potatoes of the question when you said that he makes trades instead of big signings, I think that, again, like Joe said, that's more timing based. So the Mariners had a good farm system, or, well, the Mariners didn't have a good farm system. Jerry traded away a lot of the big names to get a good farm system and then used that farm system to augment the team as some of those players graduated to the MLB level.
Yeah.
So it's the fact of the matter is, now that the team is less than just a couple pieces away. Like, the Mariners are there. They are ready to contend every single year for the next 5-10 years. So I think that accessing the free agent market, especially now that John Stanton saw that the Mariners and what Jerry and Scott are doing, they can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Mariners can make the playoffs. I think that
very feasible.
It's very feasible that John Stanton's gonna be like, okay, go ahead. Let's go spend some money. Let's go break the bank.
Write some checks, baby.
And I think that they kind of proved that with the extensions they've signed. I mean, they signed Julio for 87 years and $300 billion.
Yeah, I'm going to be dead by the time the contract's up.
Yeah. they signed Robbie Ray last year, the American League Cy Young. So I think that
extended Castillo really easily.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just all timing. I mean, they extended Munoz, they extended J.P. Crawford, they extended Evan White. There's a lot of room now for them to, instead of trading away from their core, because they had a core, they had a vision for their core. They used trade acquisitions to acquire that. Bradley Wong! Bradley Wong, not Bradley Long. Bradley Wong with the subby! Bradley! Be Wong!
Anyways.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think that a trade is, I think free agent signings are a lot more likely at this juncture where the Mariners are at. I'm not saying there won't be a trade, but there's not much to trade. The Mariners don't have a player to trade. Yes, Joe, question?
Thank you. I pulled up Bleacher Report's top 10 likely stars, to be traded this offseason. And I have an interesting one that I'd like you to look at. Mm-hmm. Mason, thank you for acknowledging that I have a statement. Before I get to my person, Jim Dayworth says, maybe not to that degree this is about Toro pitching, but apparently Toro was an option out of the bullpen in those somewhat meaningless end-of-season games. Even though he's available, I'm glad we got Luis Lorenz in the doubleheader against the Tigers. That was really fun. William Astudillo as our backup catcher. Tortuga? I might be down. I might be down. Okay, this is someone that's interesting to me. That can play second base. He has in the past. Ian Happ for the Chicago Cubs. A lot of circulation around him at the deadline. Didn't get moved. Same thing with Contreras. What are your thoughts on an Ian Happ trade? If we're talking about trade acquisitions, he's a good. I mean, I could see it happening potentially if we ran out of options for that second baseman spot. I think he can still play second base. I know he's transitioned mainly to the outfield, but switch hitter, power hitter. What are your thoughts? Do I think that's happening?
Connor.
No, I don't.
No.
I gotta end the stream, bro. There's no coming back from that one. I don't know. I literally just pulled this up and I have never thought about Ian Happ in a Mariners uniform until this moment. So do I think it's happening? Probably not. But is it fun to entertain the idea of what it might look like? Maybe.
Now J Happ.
Stop.
That's happened. Can you pull up the stats while I'm chatting? So I think that Ian Happ is
102 games, 420 plate appearances, 9 home. Oh wait, that doesn't feel right. Oh, he got injured, didn't he?
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't seem right. Okay, I'll go pull the stats. Hold on.
I don't see no OPS plus on there.
Time is called. What are you talking about OPS plus for all the time, dude?
OPS plus is lit. So I think that Ian Happ, I like the idea. Again, like you said, he should be worst case scenario. He should be if you swing and a miss.
Adam Frazier's worst case scenario.
Okay, yes.
Ian Happ is a step up, in my opinion.
I guess I'm not really considering the idea of even bringing Frazier back, but
that was wait, dude, that might have been at the deadline that those stats were there, because he did not get hurt. I don't know what I'm talking about. Those stats were very skewed and very wrong.
Did he play? Were there 102 games played before the deadline this year?
I don't know where that article came from. I probably just clicked on something that I thought was there. Here are Ian Happ.
Anyways.
Stats.
Yeah, if you miss out on the big four, I think that he is your next best option.
271 all year, 342, 440, 781 with a 119 OPS plus, 17 home runs, 72 RBIs, 9 stolen bags, doubles, got the speed for triples, 158 games. He was an all-star, his first all-star appearance. Most of, I'm sure you knew that. And he's had decent pop his whole career, 25 home runs in 2021. I'm going to see where he played positions.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad player. He's not a bad guy to bring in, I don't think. With that being said, I'm sure there are a lot of teams that are going to be looking for him. And can you, when you're done looking at positions, can you see his contract?
2022 did not play a lick of second base. He played 8 games at second base in 2021. In 2020, shortened season, he played everywhere but second base. 2019, 13 games. It's been a while. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Why are you laughing at me, bro?
No, I'm not.
You're laughing
Anyways,
at
so
me, bro.
what's his contract look like? Is this his last year of his contract this in 2023?
Signed through 2022, 1 year, 6.85 million. Wait,
Yeah, open that up. Yeah.
does that mean he's
Free agent 2024. So arbitration eligible next year.
right.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, Ian Happ's an option. Doesn't look like he played much second base. So
Whatever. Lord Berger,
As a-
yeah, Cub and Mariners fan. I'd happily take him on if we feel like he can play second base. Maybe Perry can figure it out for
work
him.
some magic. Yeah.
It's right there. Second baseman. It's right there.
Yeah. It's the third one or second one on there, right next to third baseman. W.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Abraham Toro. Is basically
Adam Frazier.
He's better Abraham Toro. Adam Frazier can't play third base.
He could.
He played shortstop.
Theoretically. Payday.
28.
Hey, I apologize. I absolutely just butchered that. Sloppy players always have triple.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Julio.
Yep.
Scott Service
easily.
Manager of the Year.
Easily. Both those easy, in my opinion.
I've seen a lot of Terry Francona.
Yeah, that's fair. The youngest team.
Manager of the Years. Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
I have.
Tito's he's gotten it before.
That's true. That is so true. I think Ty France snubbed again for a Gold Glove at first base. Snubbed again.
Won 2 Manager of the Year awards, both Cleveland, 2013 and 2016. Come on, they don't need another one there for him. They don't need another one. Okay.
I agree. All right, boys. Well, we appreciate every single one of you guys coming out. All the super chats. Hello.
Yeah, crazy, dude. Y2K, Osama bin Diesel, Jackson Brown, Dingus, everybody that was just, chatting it up as well. Got some subs from Brad and Jim while we were live. Very, very exciting. I was going to let you talk.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate that from you guys. Yo, Terry has won it before, but Cash won it back-to-back. This is true. No 3-peats allowed. Sorry, no 3-peats allowed for Kevin Cash.
No way.
Knocked out in the first round of playoffs. No, thank you. Have a good day.
Got to be Scott Service.
Anyways, we appreciate you guys hanging out. What's my favorite moment of this year? Dumper ending the playoff drought. Easy. Great moments this year. That's obviously, that has to be number one. So,
I don't think there's anything else.
Yo, V-Rex, you're much too kind, bro. Very fun to watch. You guys are super underrated. We're just getting started, baby.
Yeah, dude.
We're just getting started. More to come.
If you guys enjoy this kind of podcast style stuff, make sure to let us know, kind of gauge our interest in this. We could bring this back very easily as a more regular thing to interact with you guys a lot more as well. But seriously, thank you guys so much for the support over the channel the last 2-3 months. It's been absolutely insane.
Also,
we ended the fucking drought.
Dude. Buy our merch. Link in the description. Did you put the link in the description?
No.
Oh my God, Joe. Link in the description eventually. Buy our merch, Smile.
Yeah.
We love our merch.
We'll have more soon. Promise. That's my bad, dog. Okay, everybody, goodbye. We're signing off.
Appreciate you guys. Bye.